Well, hello, and we're back in the Kiwi Sports Studio, and today we have witnessed the first Rugby World Cup match, and it was between France and the All Blacks, and a massive win for France, 27-13. And pretty much All Blacks' worst possible start to this World Cup, and not what we're looking for at the moment. We're wanting to come up in this ladder, in this pool, but man, I've got the pressure on them now, and it was a pretty close match. Well, for the first half, it was really close. I think it was maybe 9-8 at half-time, but France just flicked the switch, and All Blacks weren't ready for it. All Blacks made lots of mistakes, and just couldn't hold their own, and France really came away with it in the second half, 27-13 for them. All Blacks unlucky to get such a big scoreline to be defeated by, but after a try in the last minute. But not what they're looking for. New Zealand and France will be really happy with this start. They are pumped for this Rugby World Cup, and I think that shows how good this team is at the moment, and it represents that this is going to be a close World Cup, and it's not going to be unpredictable. Well, a lot of people were thinking All Blacks were going to win this match, but France, they took it out, and they didn't play amazing. It was the All Blacks that just didn't play well enough. And New Zealand go down, and not a great loss for them. Now we will look on this board here. So to start off with, we'll look at possession. Well, possession, it was actually a really even match altogether. It was real stop-starty. France were trying to slow the game down, and the All Blacks just couldn't handle with the France's team, who were really starting to break the game down, try to stop this quick play that the All Blacks had made during the game. And that's pretty much, they just stopped New Zealand's momentum. For the first half, it was 44% only for France, and it looked like All Blacks were dominating. It was not a great, the best of starts for the All Blacks, but they really held it. They stuck with the position, and they couldn't finish in the first half, and they couldn't finish in the second half. That's pretty much where they lost it. They didn't take the opportunities when they had them, and France countered that with a lot of penalty kicks and a couple of tries too. And they just had brilliant conversion of tries. In the last 10 minutes, France had a 62% possession, and the territory was 61%. Oh, sorry, that's territory, yeah. So they pretty much just stayed in New Zealand's half for most of the game, and that's where they won it. Pretty much, they were stuck down in defence for quite a long time. New Zealand just weren't able to base something, and pretty much what the All Blacks did when they couldn't get through their defence, they pretty much just kicked it away, and that's what Bone Barrett mucked up quite a bit in there. And it's not what they want to be seeing at the moment. 127 tackles for France compared to 91. That's a 36 tackle difference. And to see France come out on top, that's where everyone's not quite happy about France's defence coming up this World Cup, but they've shown that they can really do come up in these ranks and really show teams that they are the business, and they can really have a good defence and good attack too. Their attack obviously was brilliant. Scored 2 tries. Their kicking game was better than the All Blacks. All Blacks were just kicking away in the last 20 minutes. Wasn't what they wanted to see. And it's just not a great game to watch for an All Black fan. Meters carried, All Blacks won that. They did have a lot of runs. And they carried over the game line pretty well. It's just that those silly mistakes in their halves, like Ethan de Groot would knock a ball on, they'd throw away silly penalties with Will Jordan being yellow carded, and that was an annoying one. I thought he was going to be red carded because that's what most refs were going to do. And that last 10-minute when he swept the legs of the France player, but it was only a penalty. And I mean, it's fair enough. It's not quite rewarding to get 2 yellow cards for an accident. And it's really got to stop. I think Will Jordan will try change his game for that. We look around, defenders beaten for the All Blacks 32-16. So they really had the better pot of the luck, and they just couldn't finish it. It just wasn't good enough from the All Blacks. What we saw in the second minute, Mark Talia, we saw a lot of Ricky Ioane. He was so good. He's coming back into his best at the moment. He's got that speed. He can break lines so easily. And that's where they got their first try, the All Blacks, for Mark Talia, when he made a massive break, Ricky Ioane. And Bone Barrett, his kicking game was really good in the first half. He just dropped it in the second half. And that's exactly where New Zealand lost it, I think. They just kicked the ball away too much, lost too many penalties, and didn't get what they wanted. Mark Talia scored another one in the 43rd minute with what people thought was a forward pass, but it wasn't, I'm pretty sure. It was a decent pass, and Mark Talia was able to score in the corner. Richie Mo'unga, penalty in 25th minute. But 5 penalties for Thomas Ramos, one of the best kickers on the planet. I think he only missed one. And it's just not what you want to be seeing if you're an All Blacks fan with these. Because when you give away penalties against France, they're always going to take the penalty kick. And when they take the penalty kick, Thomas Ramos nearly always gets them. And that's where New Zealand just weren't able to keep their discipline right during those, at least the last minutes of the game. And the disciplinary was not good enough from them. So they'll be trying to work on that next match against Namibia. But Pino scored a really good try in the corner. Then Jimine scored in the last minute. It was kind of unlucky for the All Blacks to bounce the ball, and it showed the All Blacks' luck that match. Thomas Ramos only got 1 penalty, but Thomas Ramos, highest point scorer in the match. Gregory Aldrit, player of the match. He was a big player in the match, and I think we just didn't see enough from a lot of these players. We saw Olivon was really good in defence. Bone Barrett, I mean, his meters were good, but in the last 20 minutes, he kicked it away too much, and they just couldn't build any pressure on the French side because they were kicking it to them, and French were able to hold on to the ball, and they were getting some good kicks at the end too with that, which really, because Bone Barrett wasn't kicking well at all in the last 20 minutes. He was kicking brilliantly in the first half, and it just really lost in the match in those last odd minutes. And we keep looking at this. Anton Dupont, good as always. He's not really, wasn't a standout, but I see he was probably one of the better players in the match. Mark Talia, standout for the All Blacks. So they can take some positives out of this match. Scott Barrett, again, man, he is good at the moment. His defence is best in the world, and his attack too. He's such a big player in this All Blacks lineup, and I don't know how they put Tupou Vaa'i at 6. I know I'm not saying Scott Barrett should have been 6. I don't know how they put Tupou Vaa'i 6. I think they should have put Luke Jacobson 6 and put Tupou Vaa'i on later. But I just can't see it because Luke Jacobson would have been better. I'd say Tupou Vaa'i was very quiet in the match. Scott Barrett, brilliant. Sam Whitelock, I mean, not amazing, but experienced and played well. And it's just probably not the match you'd want to be seeing. Aaron Smith was decent. Anton Dupont, good. Richie Mo'unga, It was very quiet, that match. Finlay Christie, all right. I just couldn't see All Blacks taking it out. Like, they started really well. And I thought from that first try, they had it and they could have just powered over this French team. But straight after their try, France just held the ball and they started really trying to put pressure on this All Blacks team and took the points while they were down in the All Blacks half. That's what the All Blacks did not do well at all. And it's all about those points. And I'm telling you, World Cups come down to penalties and discipline and also tries. So I think after this match, All Blacks can take some positives out of this match, but France will take the ultimate positives out of this match. We'll look at this quickly. New Zealand, France. This is my slides. New Zealand, those are the lineups. And we're just looking at this. New Zealand's history is much better than France's. But France are coming up the lines at the moment. Games played. Obviously, France are much better at the moment. They've won a few more than New Zealand, as they have not been well at all this last year, New Zealand. They've been coming up this season, but France was the biggest defeat of all time for the All Blacks. They just couldn't really do anything else, and France come back from probably the unlikeliest team. Probably All Blacks were favourites, surely, but France too good for the All Blacks, as the All Blacks lack discipline and cannot convert their points. Well, thank you for listening in. We're hoping the All Blacks can do something better, but we're looking at this World Cup and there's no possible predictions. You can have a look at my try my SuperBru predictions pool. It's the link will be down below, but I mean, it's hard to predict, and it's anyone's World Cup. I'm telling you now, it's nothing can be predicted from this World Cup. And first, pool match lost for the All Blacks, and I mean, more surprise losses to come. Thank you for watching. I'll be watching the England versus Argentina match live if you want to come in tomorrow morning, 7. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye.